Hi, my name is Neb Camus Senatumbre, and this is the second part of the video series CAIN and ABEL. The guidance of the Master's publication entitled The 9 Principles teaches us in order to understand the Arushad centers, seats, vital force centers that revolve around your glands and your central sun, the solar plexus, soul, or Spanish Latin word sol, sun, and how they relate to each other and to the whole of one's being. One must first begin by studying how the essential polarities of ether, soul, bones, organs, and the cells come into existence as matter. The word soul and sun is the same. However, they added you in one word and not the other. The Tama'hu, Canaanite Caucasian Beast-Men, have an unlit solar plexus, sun. They only have a moon or lunar plexus. It reflects your sunlight. Speaking, as they take your soul sun. Thus, when the sun hits them, it doesn't light up their inner fire. Your hair is black or brown or dark brown. It draws the sun's rays, Geo-Magnetic energies. They have yellow or thin yellow or opaque here, so the sun's energy can't keep them charged with soul. It is only a reflection of your inner fire. You have a sun inside that is lit up by the sun outside. That's why they call it solar sun plexus. The Tama'hu, his time is over, and they are falling daily because they are not sun people. They are moon people, and the moon cycle is over. They are dying of cancer and diseases caused by the intense heat and rays of the sun's ultraviolet rays that's depleting the ozone layer. The Luciferian, which means light bearer, is using his same tactic of depleting the ozone layer on this planet like he did on Earth's core. Any manifestation or thing that comes into existence or takes place must result in a polarity or duality, duad, and each polarity or duality must have a point of origin or control, monad. Creating the third point, triad. If this polarity does not happen, then there can be no manifestation that is four equal sides called a tetrahedron. So step into the fourth dimension. The relationship between these two poles is the third aspect of the triad or trinity, the point of control, where you climb up that lead line which is the plumb line, and grip the hand yod of the greater Chonoma. The Muslims call him Khalaqun in Syriac Arabic, from the Hebrew word Khalaqa, who got it while in Egypt for 430 years, Genesis 15:13, as the Hikachazut, Hyksos. Note the mask worn by Chonum from the goat family is Benebedid, ram. The Masons refer to Chonum as G-A-O-T-U, great architect of the universe. They grab and grip God's creation hand to stop creation, or the fashioner of the potter's wheel of each being from clay, mud, dust of the earth, Genesis 2:7 and 8, and Quran 23:12. This is what the Hyksos, Canaanite Caucasian Beast-Men, have done to you, Tama'hu, over 400 years under mental and physical bondage, Genesis 15:16. He climbed up that plumb line, reached for our creative hand and gripped it, and has been holding on ever since. But now his time is over as of 9/9/99. 36. 3 sixes. 3 plus 6 equal 9. The end of counting. In monotheism, that is religion blinded by false and fake teachers like they call the third part God, who they say is in control. Until asked, why did this good God create the devil and all the sin and evil? When the light was created, was that not also the creation of the shadow, darkness? To prove this point, let's take a simple action as an example and see how this principle applies. You, the viewer, now say, I will close this book. In doing this, one manifests an activity, and this brings into being a triad of subject, the power I, which is the noun, and the object power. The subject is I, the object, the book, and the relationship between the two of them will close is the verb. If you, the viewer, should consider that this is merely playing with words, try to think of an action that does not fall into these four parts: I, will, close, book, and you will find that this is impossible. Thus, in the manifesting of any activity, this threefold plus one division is impossible to escape or avoid. I will, close, and book. Nothing can actually take place in the world of name and the form which does not take this triple plus one this triple plus one division nothing can actually take place in the world of name and form which does not take this triple plus one form. This triad or trinity, which is fundamental to so many religions, I will do. They must control your will to do. Metaphysical systems and philosophies of the world, such as the Christian Trinity, the Father Yahweh, the Son Jesus, and the Holy Ghost Gabriel, and the Hinduism Trinity, Brahma, Shiva, and Krishna, and even the Islamism Trinity, Allah, Rahman, and Rahim, which they stole from the Tama'hu Egyptian Triad or Trinity concept, Aset, or Asaru, Aset, and Horus, as one being of three parts of the same. The triads or Trinity are in Orphic, Phanis, Uranus, and Cronus. In Zoroastric, Armozd, Mithras, and Ahriman. In Indian, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. In Kabiric, Axerkos, Axiokersa, and Axiokersos. In Phoenician, Asteroth, Milcom, and Chemosh. In Tyrian, Pilus. Venus and Tammuz. In Grecian, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. In Roman, Jupiter, Neptune, and Pluto. In Eleusinian, Iacchus, Persephone, and Demeter. In Platonic, Tagathon, Nous, and Psyche. In Celtic, Hu, Ceridwen, and Craiwi. In Teutonic, Fenris, Midgard, and Hela. In Gothic, Woden, Frigga, and Thor. And in Scandinavian, Odin, Vile, and Ve. Each will say no. They are all the same God, but with three different actions and purposes. Names for this polarity are numerous, and we are accustomed to such terms as life and the form, spirit and the matter, perceiver and the perceived, self and not self. We also use the terms unity and diversity because the subject or perceiver is always one, whereas the object or perceived is always diverse. This is often represented by the symbol of the cycle, the sun with rays all around it. It is not difficult to think of numerous other terms used for this essential polarity, such as good and evil, God and devil, depending on the religious or metaphysical system concerned. There can be no complete system of metaphysics or science of life which does not include this polarity. The Egyptian terminology for these polarities has an exceptional worth as the words Shen and Shem. These polarities, the subjective and the objective sides of our being, and their combinations, transformations, and in-between stages makes up our total experience called the dance of Shin and Sham, where the Chinese got their yin and yang. Yin is the passive feminine principle in Chinese dualistic philosophy. And yang is the active masculine principle in Chinese dualistic philosophy. These two symbols, to them, coincides with Earth and the North, God and the devil, angels and the demons, etc. This is what you might term will, which in itself is an abstraction. It's undecided. The religious society might categorize will as good or evil. However, will is the mental faculty by which the human being decides on a course of action deliberately. It remains an abstraction until someone or something exercises one or the other of the opposing forces. Each human being was born with 360 degrees of knowledge, 180 degrees of positive, attracting or pulling force, 180 degrees of negative, repelling or pushing force. Not as in good or bad, although they can be used by either, but opposing forces like a magnet. Look at this. To the Christians, the Muslims are evil for not accepting Jesus, Jehovah, Christ, and the New Testament. To the Muslims, the Christians are evil for not accepting Tawheed, one Allah only, Muhammad, and the Quran. When they make a decision, they are fighting a battle within between what seems agreeable or right and what seems disagreeable or wrong, which becomes right, good, wrong, evil. It's that easy to misjudge. And now the original Hebrews or Jews, to them they are both wrong. What seems disagreeable is to disagree or simply not agree with someone else's terms. This in a struggle are two warriors evenly matched, struggling to overcome the other, one being male and the other being female, as they put it, the stronger and the weaker. So the strongest propaganda or media makes others look wrong and evil, even if it is the evil ones doing it. So people of religion are these evil forces in control, making all others look like a cult or evil. Making decisions affects the hyper, the heart center, which deals with healing or curing. This is where the two opposing forces meet. This is the constant struggle that is raging inside the human being to reach that divine state. This is symbolized by the struggle between Haru, Horus, and Sotoch, Seth, both of the same blood seed. Horus, the agreeable one, would symbolize the divine man, born of nature, the left side, who does battle against Sotoch, Seth, the disagreeable one, representing the power of opposition, the right side. religious societies term this as each human being having guardian angels, one on each side, one coercing you to do that which is agreeable, and the other coercing you to do that which is disagreeable. However, you, as a God, determine the cause of your own effect, which leads to each one's outcome. Whatever the outcome is, that is what is supposed to be. You are the God or the eye on the top of the pendulum, which controls your outcome. You let your God self get caught up in the game of life called will. Life therefore is both an upward and a downward process flowing out from its source, the solar plexus, the true central sun, the inner green light, soul, emotions, feelings, compassion, regret, sorrow, love, hate, etc. The ray raw into manifestation, man infesting life and creating synthetic intelligence, a lunar plexus. In the made man, man's kind. The ghost man can only reflect the sun. He has no light of or sun of his own, unquote. Both him and her people, and they both have been cursed. He with a physical curse, Genesis 9:25 and Leviticus 14:30 and Leviticus 13:13, and a spiritual curse, eternal damnation, Holy Quran 1:7, and he has already been judged in Holy Quran 21:02 and Holy Quran 18:47, and she with a physical curse. Holy Tablets chapter 5, tablet 4, verses 182 and 183, which states, and the curse of blood shall be upon the hands of ABEL. By each month shall her body yield blood. Verse 189 continues, even ABEL shall be visited by the four quarters of the moon with the blood of Cadmon. She has crucified him with all kinds of sickness. Humans born of women will have sicknesses, unquote. However, Anu, most glorified and exalted, has granted ABEL a token of his favor in verse 272, which states, you will be rewarded through all the pain of motherhood, and if you pass in childbearing, you shall be a spiritual matter. Seek you Cadmon and be with him as one flesh. Holy Tablets chapter 1, tablet 14, verses 86 through 87 informs us, and I quote, the mother, simply mater or matter, She reflects the light of a properly lit sun in wisdom. She has 4 periods as the 4 periods of the moon. The moon that you see has no light of its own, unquote. Also Genesis 3:24. In the scroll entitled The Degree of Mohammedism, on page 490, the angel Melchizedek reiterates this fact by stating, and I quote, "The breath of Allah is moving inside of man. He, the prophet Adam, the Nubian male who was created on the spiritual plane, had the spirit of the Creator within him, which was carried on the Y chromosome. She, Eve, the Nubian female, whom the Bible wrongly says was created on the physical plane from the prophet Adam, carried the spirit on her X chromosome from the Y chromosome of the prophet Adam, who supposedly being her mother and father, she came from him. Eve received her soul, unquote. Also Genesis 3:23, point blank. The female has X chromosomes, she has no Y, so no soul. You may disagree with this scientific information, but that doesn't change anything. For giving us, male living beings, this right knowledge, there has always been a group of hateful females plotting evil vengeance and retaliation against the reformer. Now about that curse of blood. Harsh realities are sometimes needed to get the point across. Else Holy Torah Leviticus 15:19 through 28. Yahuwah spoke to Moses. Yahuwah spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, if a Isha woman has an issue and her zobe issue in the skin and flesh is down blood, she will be in her nidau, impurity, 7 Yomei days. And whoever touches her will be taumei, unclean until the dusk period. And everything that she lies on in her nidau, impurity, will be taumei, unclean. Everything also that she sits on will be taumei, unclean. And whosoever touches her bed will wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be taumei, unclean until the dusk period. And whoever touches anything that she sits on will wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be taumei until the dusk period. And if it is on her bed or on anything on which she sits, when he touches it, he will be Tama'hu, unclean, until the dusk period. And if any ish, male living being, Shaukab, lies with her, and her nidao, impurity, is upon him, he will be Tama'hu, unclean, 7 days. And every bed on which he lies will be unclean. And if a Ishao woman has a Zobe issue of a down blood many days, not in the time of her nidao, impurity, and if she has a Zobe issue beyond the time of her nidao impurity, all the days of her Zobe issue of her Tama'hu uncleanliness, she will be as in the days of her nidao impurity. She is unclean. Every bed on which she lies, all the days of her issue will be to her as the bed of her impurity. And everything on which she sits will be unclean as the uncleanliness of her impurity. And whoever touches those things will be Tama'hu, unclean, and will wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be Tama'hu, unclean until the dusk period. But if she is cleansed of her Zobe issue, then she will number to herself 7 days, and after that she will be Tauhare, clean, unquote. Leviticus 18:19 warns, and if and you will not approach a woman to uncover her nakedness, as long as she is nidao, impure, by her Tama'hu, uncleanliness. Then Leviticus 20:18 says, and if a male living being lie with a woman having her daweh sickness, and will gaulau uncover her urwau nakedness, he has made her fountain naked, and she has uncovered the fountain of her blood, and both of them will be cut off from amongst the nation of people, unquote.